Fuel your body, support a healthy immune system, and fortify your mind by harnessing the power of the endocannabinoid system, or ECS. This complex system was detected in 1992 when medical researchers discovered the anandamide endocannabinoid, and it has changed the way millions of people view their health. Our bodies naturally produce cannabinoids, and our CB1 receptors, found mostly in the brain and nervous system, and our CB2 receptors, found mainly in the body and immune system, both help to control pain response, infection, appetite, sleep, and even mood. Anandamide is a neurotransmitter that is responsible for things like joy and happiness, and it bonds with these receptors to help achieve better balance. When your body is in a state of balance, it's called homeostasis, and it is incredibly important for a healthy life. And the endocannabinoid system is responsible for regulating this wellness and inner balance. For example, your body is regulated to a temperature of about 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit because your ECS helps control these conditions. If you spike a fever, your ECS, especially receptors in your immune system, become imbalanced, sending white blood cells to fight it, raising your body's internal temperature to kill the virus. If the ECS is not getting the support it needs, your body systems can become imbalanced, causing issues related to immunity, sleep, and mood. Our hemp products contain phytocannabinoids, the plant version of endocannabinoids. They're able to bond with our ECS receptors to help achieve or restore homeostasis in our brain and our bodies. Supplementing your endocannabinoid supply with phytocannabinoids from our family of full-spectrum, hemp-derived, ultracell CBD oils and powders is a great way to support a healthy balance. Find out how Zalise can help support your ECS. Visit Zalise.com for more information.
Well, thank you. It's great to be here. And this is one of my favorite topics to talk about, so I appreciate you asking me to do it. And that's a great video. What a wonderful way to start this off. So we'll go to the first couple of slides. So as the video talked about, it's about homeostasis, which is just a fancy word for balance. If the body's not in balance, we can become ill. So it's about external factors, but internal fluctuations. So next slide, please. So what is the endocannabinoid system? The video talked a little bit about it, and we're going to dive a bit deeper because it is just fascinating. But as we just learned, it regulates homeostasis. It keeps us in balance. It's a pretty new system. I mean, it's been there all along, but it's just recently discovered. So when I was in veterinary school, nobody talked about this. And we know that it regulates these processes. How does Dr. Todd talks about sleep, how important, and mood, and appetite, which is something exciting, memory, immune function. And for the next slide, we'll see some more things. There we go. So, and as the video talked about, our nervous system, and the endocannabinoid system is the protective mechanism for our brain and our rest of our nervous system. So it's really important. You know, I can sing every word of the first Beatles song I heard at age 6, but I can't remember what I had for breakfast. I need to have a balanced endocannabinoid system for my brain to remember what I had for breakfast. And other things, movement and energy, metabolism, all the things you see on here, the endocannabinoid system regulates. And one that I want to add that is not on here because it's really recently come into the research arena, and that's the microbiome. And that's microbiome is just a fancy word for all the microorganisms that are within our body. And specifically in the gut, we have good gut bacteria, we have not so good gut bacteria. And how our digestion is, everything about the gut is regulated through the endocannabinoid system. It's really very exciting research happening. Okay, the next one. There we go. So let's dive a little deeper into what this ECS is. What did the video talk about? And in its simplicity is its brilliance. So it mentioned the receptors, the CB1, CB2, there are others we'll talk about. And it's not critically important that we remember where things are. It's just important that we know the endocannabinoid system is made of receptors. It's like the lock on a door. And then we have the products that our own bodies make, whether it's anandamide or some of the other things that we make like a key. So the key goes into the lock on the door and opens the door. And then there are enzymes, like a locksmith that makes the key that opens the door. And when the door is open, we don't need it anymore. We get rid of the key. So these three components are really what the endocannabinoid system is all about. And the next slide will show us its real brilliance, though. So the key is that this system is in every single body system, whether it's a two-legged, whether it's our four-legged animal companions, farm animals, any vertebrate. This system is within every other body system. So again, don't worry too much about what receptors are where, because it can get very complicated. But just know that you might read articles about CB1 or CB2. And coming forward with the research, you might read an article about the GPR55 because of metabolism, and really my favorite one, which is the TRAPV1s. And that is really all about pain control, very important for the nervous system. And all of us are different, so my husband can eat a hot pepper and he just goes, eh. And I take the littlest bite and my mouth is on fire. We obviously have two different TRAPV1 systems, and that's the beauty of it. But the real genius here for me with the endocannabinoid system, and why I get so nerdy about it, is it's not just that it's within every system to balance within that system, but it talks to each other. So the brain is talking to the immune system, it's talking to the heart and the lungs. They're all communicating, and to keep everything coming back into balance. And there are so many different metaphors, but I was thinking of one today. And back when I was practicing a lot, I was very clumsy. I'll just say I'm clumsy. So, my endocannabinoid system was always on alert because, oh, Lordy, she's got a needle. Guaranteed, I'm going to poke myself. Now, the question is, did I poke myself with a cat needle, or did I poke myself with a needle that I would use for a giraffe or a gorilla when I was helping out at the zoo? So if I poke myself with the little needle that I use for a kitten, my nervous system is like, oh, there she goes, pain, I poke myself. And then the immune system's going to get all wired up like, oh, I got to send in the white blood cells. And the nervous system's going to go, dude, just settle. It's going to talk to the ECS and the immune system, go, it's a cat needle. She's going to be fine. But if I poke myself with the gorilla needle that's already been used on the gorilla, now we have a problem. So now my ECS and the nervous system is saying, okay, immune system, she did it again. Come on in, we need your help. And if I get kicked by the gorilla or the giraffe, or I get bit by the cat, now it's calling in the cardiovascular system, my adrenals, because I might get a little lightheaded. So see the brilliance of it? They're all got walkie-talkies. They're all talking to each other. They're all making that connection. Like we talk about with Zelise, wellness, purpose, and connection. They're making the connection, which then leads to our wellness. Okay, next slide, please. So how do the phytocannabinoids that we just learned about on the video, how does this work? Well, Mother Nature knows that we need to keep our endocannabinoid system in balance. It understands that. One of the ways we do it is to eliminate stress. Well, good luck with that right now. We got fires, we got floods. It's difficult. So we're going to feel that stress. But as we go through our day, we can take a couple deep breaths just to calm. That's going to help our ECS. Eating well, exercising, all those things help our ECS. But there are specific plants that Mother Nature has given us, even cinnamon, green tea, turmeric, and my favorite, dark chocolate. So this Valentine's Day, pick the dark chocolate with your happy coffee or your green tea, because that helps your endocannabinoid system. But the king of plants, of course, is the hemp. So what the hemp has is different phytocannabinoids, different molecules in it that work at different receptors all throughout our body. And the one that everybody knows the most is CBD. That's just a part of the hemp plant. And so, but the beautiful thing about Zelise is that we keep creating these products that are more expansive. So the new Ultra Vibe has not just CBD, but it has CBG, CBN, CBC. So think of it like roses. A rose is a rose, but there might be a red one or a yellow one or a white one. They're all a little bit different. same thing with hemp plants. There's different varieties. So we can pull them together to create an amazing product. The other piece of this is that it's using the entire plant. There's something in herbal medicine called the entourage effect. This is a basis of herbal medicine. So when I have a clinician that's very left brain say, well, Sue, what's the active ingredient of that plant? And I say, yes. And they look at me. It's because it's the plant, silly. It's the plant. So when we do the entourage effect, when we have this broad spectrum plants and we blend them together, we're getting not only the phytocannabinoids, we're getting terpenes with like essential oils, antioxidants, we're getting all the beauty of that plant in one product. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so this slide is the one that made me say, this is the company I want to use. This is the product. Because the thing about phytocannabinoids, the thing about hemp is that they're fat soluble, which means they're hard to absorb. In the old days, it'd be like, well, do you give it with a little bit of peanut butter? What do you do? Don't have to with Salice. So this amazing technology has taken it and made it more water soluble. So when you look at the slide, what it shows us is that the absorption, unlike many of the original products on the market that are still there, 20, 30% of it is absorbed, up to 94%. So when that says unprecedented, that is an accurate word. It is unprecedented. The other piece of these products is that they go up and they come back down quickly. So you have to give a lot of it, not with Salice. You see how all those colored lines stay up there? You're getting that activity for a long period of time. So what does that mean? You have better efficacy, meaning it's going to work. But the other piece of it is it's more cost effective. So when I tell my clients, like, well, that product you're using, okay, this one probably is going to work better and it's going to cost you a lot less because you don't have to give the serving size that is so large to get it to be absorbed. So hopefully that makes sense. And of course, it has to be independently verified. We know that the product that we're getting is safe and that there's nothing in it that we don't want to be in it. So, okay, next slide, please. All right, so all the products that balance us. And as I've been saying, because it's in every body system, it does a lot of different things. And that's why people will say, well, this is like snake oil. It can't possibly do all this. Yeah, if it's everywhere, it can possibly do all this. So that's the beauty of it. And some of these products, these are the hemp-based products, but again, there's other plants that help the endocannabinoid system. And I want to give a shout out because we talked about amalaki earlier in the Zoom tonight. And even though that's not technically a phytocannabinoid, it affects digestion. That helps the microbiome. It's an adaptogen, which means it helps the stress. So what is it doing? It's indirectly supporting that endocannabinoid system and supporting getting the body back into balance. Okay, next slide. All right, so pets. Of course, we love our pets. We love our farm animals. We want to help them. And their endocannabinoid system has been mapped out. We know exactly where the receptors are. It's very exciting. The one thing that I do want to point out, which is really important, is that in dogs, they have more CB1 receptors in an area of the brain that governs movement. So they're sensitive. Now, they're fine with hemp, but they're not fine with cannabis, which has THC, a lot of THC in it. And so that can be very dangerous. So the wonderful thing about the Salice pet products and all the products is we know that they're pet friendly. I don't have to worry about having any reaction. I know it's going to be safe. It's going to be effective and safe and cost effective. Okay, next slide. Okay, so just all these results that the pets are feeling, what have I been talking about? We humans are going to feel them. So, all of the discomfort, creating that sense of calm, being able to move, age-related. What did I talk about? Can I remember this music? Can I remember what I had for breakfast? Pets go through this too as they get older. Skin, it's amazing for skin health. And in the veterinary world, that's a big deal for us. We have a lot of skin problems and just overall well-being. Just like us, it's going to help the animals. And something that, we talk about a lot is that if our animal is sick, if our animal is in pain, we feel it. We love them. They're part of our family. We get stressed. There goes our endocannabinoid system. But it's vice versa. So if I'm in pain, if I'm stressed, my pet is going to feel it. They're going to know it. They're little intuitives. So it really expands this sense of connection. So it helps us, helps our animal companions. Everything comes back into harmony, which is exactly what we want. So I hope that helps, and I'll turn it back over to you.